Oh, you,
Hello there. Right now, I am being joined by a dear personal friend, actually, JJ. Would you like to
hello.
introduce yourself?
Well, I'm JJ Ivy, pronouns they, he, she, and just a general all-around crazy person. So, yay.
Yes, me and you actually know each other from this year doing work with the Orlando Fringe Festival.
hmm
You brought your show, Death of a Dandelion.
I did, where I got to play my grandmother for an hour.
Mama
Uh,
June,
Mama Judy.
Mama Judy. Well, it must not be that good if I forgot. No, no,
Wow. It's okay. One
no,
of the
she was,
reviewers who liked it also accidentally called her Mama June, so
I think it's the Mama and the Papa thing. I,
probably, yeah.
no, Mama Judy was great. It was a lovely
Thank
show. I did actually love it. I should probably clarify that. Uh, we're
Thank you.
queer. We tease each other. It's just how
Yeah,
it
and I
goes.
just put in my application for next year today. It opened today.
Orlando did?
Orlando
Oh,
and New York City Fringe both opened applications today.
well, I know what I have to do at the end of the hour, but we're not going to go there quite yet.
But before then,
Before that happens, uh, yes, I'm super happy to have you on board. You and me and Caitlin were kind of talking, and that's what kind of kickstarted this whole idea in the first place. So I'm super happy to have you both on the team and to have this turn into something. We'll see what it becomes exactly, but something for sure.
yes, I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So where are you from?
Um, I'm originally from backwoods West Tennessee, teeny tiny little town. But I lived in Florida for many, many years, and now I live in Brooklyn, New York.
I thought you lived in New York, New York.
Mhm.
That's a
I
terrible
mean,
joke. I'm sorry. I had to make it.
wow, wow, Canadians.
That's what we do. We're terrible. We're the worst. So
Oh,
you've done a few Fringe festivals at this point.
mhm.
Is it safe to call us established at this point? We're established creators? No, we're never
Oh,
established.
I
Who?
hope so.
We've done
Like,
it before. We know what we're doing
yeah,
theoretically.
yeah. I mean, I've only created a show for one Fringe, but I've been in at least five or six of them. So people know, people recognize me. I I actually had one of the board members from Orlando Fringe at a performance of Cats that I worked front of house at yesterday.
Oh, amazing.
Um, who came up to me during intermission and was like, "Don't I know you? Were you in Orlando for Fringe?" I'm like, "Oh, yes, yes, I was." He's like, "Yes, you
Oh,
had that show where you played your grandmother." I'm like, "Oh,
oh, that's so sweet that you remembered the show, or they remembered the
right."
show. I should say. I don't know. The question is did we meet them through Heather? That's just has to
Right.
be asked.
I don't think we did.
That's fair.
Right.
We'll let her take credit anyways. It's fine.
Why not?
So I approached because I knew you a little bit. I wanted to give you something that was a little bit more not specific for you, but something that I think you could play really nicely with. So your monologue is called Date.
Yes.
I don't think it's a good name for the monologue, but I'll figure that out.
Well, I was a little thrown off when I was reading it because I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Maddie managed to get inside my head after knowing each other for like 2 weeks.
Yes.
Because I'm
So
pretty sure I've been in this situation before almost.
it's a weird place to find yourself in. And
Yeah.
we're building suspense right now for everyone. That's what we're doing. Uh this particular monologue was one of the first for this particular collection, and I'm just really excited to see what you do with it. So, would you like to give it a spin?
Sure. And I'll preface this by saying that I've been in jury duty for over 40 hours a week, plus working nighttime jobs, so I haven't like memorized it. But
Totally not expecting you
I know
to.
it's just
You're welcome to
rehearsal,
just read
but
it off the screen. It's just a
all right.
rehearsal that everyone will watch.
Perfect. All right. Shall we hop into it?
Go for it.
All right. Is this a date? I mean, we're getting along fine and the conversation is good. The food is delicious, the wine is flowing, but is this a date? And if it is a date, when did this become a date? Why did this become a date? Why are you here with me if this is a date? Hey, you're a god, and I'm just, well, I'm not, but you look, I thought I was just going to come here and we could talk about history or whatever it is normal people do. But you were coming here for a date with me when you're you? I just never expected this to be possible. I'm not like a troll baby or anything, but I never expected someone like you to be into someone like me. That thought never crossed my mind. I mean, I like musicals, and you once told me that you play sports. You constantly talk about sports, and I can barely recognize which ball goes where. We don't seem to have anything in common, and I just weren't you married? Didn't you have a wife or a husband or something else? I mean, I know the ring is gone, but what does that mean? Just tell me flat out if this is a date. I can take it either way, but if that's a yes, then I have many places I can take it. But if this is a no, then what is this? Is it a dinner between friends? An audition? A really boring job interview? There's too much ambiguity here, and I don't like it.
Excellent work. Thank you
Okay.
for. I would like to just ask you something to start off with.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Talking to someone across the table, I guess.
Have you specified who the person that you're on this date with is?
Mm,
It's
not
okay
really.
if no.
I guess it kind of in like an abstract kind of way.
Fair.
This is a very attractive person. Um, I'm guessing probably a man, but who knows?
Who knows?
And I imagine this is like one of those moments where I'm with someone that I think is just like a good or becoming a good straight friend, and suddenly something is said that makes me think otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
which has happened to me before. So I'm like, yeah.
Relatable content, if nothing else.
Yes, very relatable.
So yeah, the idea of dinner dates coming across very strongly, and the whole idea of ambiguous dinner date. Apologize for the sirens in the background if you can hear them. Uh, if this is a date, when did you become a date? Uh, it's a lot of questions, a lot of questioning yourself. And I really like the idea that I know that once you're a little bit more comfortable with the text and you've had more time to look at it, you're going to have a lot more inflections and a lot more introspection through here.
Okay,
There's just a couple things that I wanted to potentially go over.
sure.
In the second line or in the second stanza, one thing that I do particularly when I'm writing is what I will switch up which punctuation should be there.
Mhm.
So normally, with me, when you're you, there's the intention of it being a question mark, and I really wanted those to be statements. So, uh, whatever it is the normal people do, but you're coming here for a date with me when you're you, just to kind of have like a little bit more ambiguity and a little bit more unsuredness with the whole thing. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it's
You don't
all.
mind if I take notes, do you?
Please do. That's what I know happens. Um,
Perfect.
Are there any places with this monologue that you're feeling very comfortable with so far,
Very comfortable with.
Mhm. Or that
Um,
you relate to very well, or
I mean, really the entire thing. Um,
What I was
um,
trying to get at there specifically was if there was a section here that you felt you were already like very strong with, or that you were felt like you could kind of carry. But I feel like you're doing very well. I do think that there's a lot here that it's not the most over the top monologue, but there's
mhm,
definitely a lot of places you can potentially build and have it be really big. So I'm
right.
definitely excited to see what you do with it. My favorite line in this whole thing is just like, I'm not like a troll baby or anything, but yeah. And the whole part
Yeah,
where
I
they
think
like,
I
is
think one of my
sports
favorite.
something you relate to?
Who, me?
Yeah,
No.
fair.
I know basketball and hockey only because I work at Madison Square Garden.
That's fair.
And hockey is a lot of fun, but I still don't know what happens in a game. So I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
Um,
they take the disc and they hit it with sticks.
oh,
Yeah,
that explains so much.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it. That's as a Canadian, I can
Um,
say that.
so this third stanza is very much like I don't know if I would even fully talk to someone all the time who talked about sports because I'd just be like, mm, I have no idea what you're saying, but you're going there. All right.
Yeah, people can get impassionate about anything.
That's true. And I'm sure I have fully info dumped about musicals before to people who have no interest in them at all.
But I forgave you. It's fine. That's
Exactly. Yeah, I had a full conversation with someone I just met about how mad I was about Limpika closing literally yesterday. So yeah,
I
that's
don't
something I relate
I
to
don't
very well.
I don't know what that is. Was that a
Uh,
musical?
it was just know it was a very amazing musical I saw right before coming to Orlando that closed while I was in Orlando, and I was pissed about it.
Oh no.
Lesbians, it was great.
That is disappointing. Not lesbians, but just the musical
Lesbians are great.
closing. I
Yeah, it
mean,
was
we
about
love lesbians. They're great. They're
exactly. It was about the artist Limpika from like that did a lot of Art Deco stuff.
very cool. I will have to check it
Um,
out.
yeah, but yeah, I really enjoy this monologue. One question or questions I have for you. Um, Something with acting was something that feels so close to actually my own personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, I do enjoy that there's a lot of questioning of the situation and self. Um, but is there any kind of resolution to be had?
That is the
And
question.
right, there doesn't have to be. I'm just curious.
I've been going back and forth on whether or not this needs another line at the end to kind of tie it up.
Mhm.
We'll see if that's the case. I can literally go either way with it. I think that it could work really well as a piece that has that solid final kick. And I think this can also work as a piece that just kind of abruptly ends, like some dates do. So
Right.
yeah, I that's something I'm personally going back and forth about, and I don't know what the right answer is there. So if you're feeling strongly one way or the other, I can try to come up with a punchline for it, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. We can always just go with what's here.
I'm
The
not
other thing with this is that because it
about
is
it.
something that is very close to you and your experiences, I would welcome the opportunity for you to kind of approach it from a different angle. So maybe if
Mhm.
there's something, there is a tendency, especially in something like this, that we would go to a very introspective, emotional, questioning place.
Yeah.
And it might almost be interesting to see you take it from a perspective of bravado. We're being like, oh, well, I know I'm fabulous, and this could definitely be a date, but I just didn't think you would be my type. That could be an option. So
Right.
there are other ways to look at this. And if you find that you're getting stuck on just challenge, your own perspective, and you want to try a challenge, like there are ways to switch it up too.
Okay.
Or just
Cool.
do it to yourself. There are no wrong choices with theater. It just depends on what you're going for and what you want to do with it.
Right. well, thinking about what is happening here, like who is on the other side of this, my other thought was that this is someone saying all of this into a mirror, building themselves up to actually ask stuff. But just another option I thought of.
No, for sure. I feel like it could work fairly well. Like maybe if it was like in the bathroom and on the date, they're in the bathroom to psych
Right.
themselves up to be like, is this a date?
Right.
Which adds a very
Um,
different layer to it, which is actually
yeah.
kind of that's a cool way to take it for sure.
Sorry, I'm still reading it again from like that angle. I'm like, how does this work? I really like this monologue though, and I can't wait till we get there and I get to see what everyone else's monologues are as well.
It is an experience. I realized that the theater is a little bit smaller than I expected, so hopefully we have seats for people. But if we don't,
Hmm.
we're going to be a very tight stage. So we'll see how
Well, we
that
do.
goes.
Like that theater, there are actual seats in there. I believe there's 45 audience seats plus a bunch of folding chairs they have in the back.
Okay.
Or, and those chairs can be put out on stage or wherever.
Yeah. Well, that's a problem for a
Yeah.
later day,
And the
like a
theater
week
has a
from now,
bar for anyone who wants to drink.
right? But no, I really like where this is going. I think that the monologue's a good fit for you. And if you have any questions or concerns about it, I welcome them. Just let me know. We can also continue to work. Uh, Feel free to go back and forth if you want another line added to it, or if you think that if you like where it resolves, we can resolve it here. But if I have a burst of inspiration, I can add it. But you'll know it's locked when you see date and then locked at the top.
Okay, sweet.
All right.
Um,
Well, that went
awesome.
much faster than I expected, but that's also a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to, should I read it again and try it a different way while we're
Was
here?
there was there a part that you wanted to look at specifically with that, or
Not necessarily. I mean, as far as specific parts, it is a normal length monologue, which means yeah,
no?
you know,
Well, why don't we try the first stanza again, the first section, and just really go for it being almost super anxious. I feel like that's kind
you're
of
anxious.
yeah.
Okay.
Not that you'd have any experience with that, of course.
Never. No.
I
Me
feel like
anxious?
playing
Never.
playing what you know can sometimes be a good thing.
All right, let's.
Take a moment on your own time.
Is this a date? I mean, we're getting along fine, and the conversation is good. The food is delicious. The wine is flowing, but is this a date? And if it is a date, when did this become a date? Why did this become a date? Why are you here with me if this is a date? You're a god, and I'm just, well, I am not, but you look. I thought I was just going to be here and we could talk about history or whatever it is normal people do, but you were coming here for a date with me when you're you.
I like what you're doing so far. I do feel you holding back a little bit. I think that
Yeah,
could be one part of it is just it's the reading portion. So
right,
you can definitely go. I really liked the idea you presented where you're actually in the washroom and you're just having like a full on freak out where it's just
right.
like you're talking to yourself, but to him in your head and then doing that. So
Yeah,
I feel like that might actually break you out of the idea of talking across from someone. So
yeah, I like that.
did you want to could you just start it out by being like, fuck, is this a date?
Yeah,
Go for it.
sure. Like full on, you want a line and everything, or just the feeling of fuck?
Whatever works. At this point I have to edit out expletives, so we're just gotta go with it.
Fuck. Is this a date?
Okay, go bigger.
Oh, is this a date? I mean, we're getting along fine and the conversation is good. The food is delicious. The wine is flowing, but is this a date? If this is a date, when did this become a date? And why did this become a date? Why are you here with me? If this is a date, you're a god, and I'm just well, I'm not.
I
But
think
you.
it's really, really good. I really like what you're doing. My only thought is that can you keep the energy building throughout? And so it's
Mhm.
just uh if this is a date, when did this become a date? Why did this become a date? Why are you here with me? If this is you're a god and I'm just boom. Well, I'm not. But you, and then kind of look, I thought this was the
Okay.
first part especially can build a lot more and you get some really great energy happening there. I just kind of feel like you're almost cutting yourself off a little bit where you're not quite bringing it up as high as you can push it. So,
Okay. Well, let's try it again.
yeah.
And I'm going to stand up because part of it might just be that I'm sitting down and all.
Sitting down does make a big difference. You don't think it does, but it absolutely does.
Right. Uh, oh, is this a date? I mean, we're getting along fine and the conversation is good. The food is delicious. The wine is flowing. But is this a date? And if it is a date, when did this become a date? Why did this become a date? Why are you here with me if this is a date? You're a god, and I'm just well, I'm not. But you are. Look, I thought I was just going to come here and we were going to talk about history or whatever it is normal people do, but you were coming here for a date with me. And when you better,
Very better.
very better.
I really like how you can feel the energy now. I know it's just
Mhm.
it's sometimes just as simple as getting it on its feet and just kind of connecting the thoughts. But yeah, it's building a lot more naturally now and you can definitely feel not necessarily frustration, but just the nervous but excited anxiety to it.
Right.
I think it's a very fun direction to move it in.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's also going to be fun to actually rehearse in front of a mirror like I do for every monologue, but
Yeah. That it will be. I think that you'll
make
do a great job on it.
thank you. Ah, I'm excited to do this.
I think it's going to be we've got some fun times ahead. I think it's going to be a really cool show.
Yeah.
So, one thing I do want to ask is, are there any social media links or anything you'd like to share with the audience?
I mean, always my own social media at JJIV_actor on Instagram, or my website is jjiv.com.
Perfect. So you can find him at JJ actor on Instagram and
Dot com.
JJIVactor.com.
No, just jjiv.com. It's
JJIV.com.
that cool.
Spelled IVEY, of course.
Yes.
And are there any projects or anything coming up that you'd like to plug?
I mean, mainly just this, and hopefully there'll be some more stuff soon.
Here's hoping.
Um, there's another social media that I'd like to throw out there, but I don't know if that we're officially launching yet. So to be determined.
Well, we'll include it in the links as soon as we have it.
Yes.
And yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Thank you for
Yay.
joining me today, and I will see you in literally a few days. So it's very exciting because it's coming up quick.
Oh, I'm excited. All right. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having